Girl, I'm looking at a face I don't recognize today myself. Don't know what to say, things ain't the same. I felt that we lost our way, the street is two ways, and girl, and everybody keeping.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Serendipia. My name is Sweetie Diana for those of you who are new here, and I like to make videos on lifestyle based on experiences that I've gone through throughout high school, college, and currently my adult life. So if you're interested in those kind of videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button and let's get started. So today I had an idea for this whole separate video, and then I did a time lapse, and the time lapse only turned out to be 30 seconds, and I'm just like, that's not gonna work out. So instead, we're doing this video, which is, as you already read in the title, about self-care. I have made videos like this in the past where I talk about self-care and like my own self-care routines and what I like to do. So I'm going to be switching it up a little bit more this time around, showing you new ideas and advice, still making it where it's like based on like, you know, self-love and self-appreciation rather than spending money, just because I feel like a lot of people have this idea of self-care being able to like splurge on yourself or going out for comfort food or going to the spa or something. Like a lot of people have this mentality that in order to have a like self-care day, you need to spend money. I wanted to give you these tips and these different things that I like to do aside from my usual drink water, you know, move and stuff like that. With that said, we'll go ahead and get started. So the self-care tips that I have for you today are taking a nap, dressing up for the day, having your favorite drink, self-affirmations, decluttering a spot, and if you stay till the end of this video, I have a bonus tip. Starting off with the first one, taking a nap. I feel like this whole idea of taking a nap has always been negative. A lot of people feel like if they take a nap, they're being unproductive. There's a lot of memes of like, I have a million things to do, but I still go take naps. There's just this whole idea of not being productive when you're taking a nap, which makes sense because you're sleeping. You're taking time of your day to sleep. But in reality, if you take a nap when you're really tired, that actually will give you a little bit of boost of energy. So don't cross out taking naps as being a bad thing rather than something that can actually help you throughout the day. So for example, if you're feeling flustered, if you're feeling frustrated, you know, you just have a lot in your head, you're just cranky, you might have just not had enough rest. Even if you got the full 8 hours of sleep, it might have been restless sleep or something like that, and your body genuinely needs some time to rest at the moment. So why not take a nap? Do that thing for yourself today, like that self-care for yourself today, taking a nap. Taking naps can be seen as a form of self-care rather than as something negative, and when they're seen as a form of self-care, you feel less guilty when you take them as well. So don't cross out taking naps. If you need a nap today because you're feeling really tired, that's fine. Now and then, just treating yourself like that, giving yourself that extra rest and care, that's fine. Go ahead and take your nap. I feel like dressing up for the day requires a lot of energy. In the times that we are now with being quarantined, especially now that we went from thinking it was just gonna be for like a few months and we've been at it for almost a year at this point, I feel like a lot of us have fallen into this routine of not getting out of our PJs or just being in sweats all day and like in hoodies. I know that I do that a lot. I know that sometimes even when I'm working, I change into sweats because I just want to be a little bit more comfortable. But sometimes dressing up for the day can be a form of self-care as well. And I say this because, like I said, dressing up can take a lot of energy, but for a lot of us, feeling a little bit cute on the outside, feeling, you know, presentable, it makes us feel good about ourselves. It makes us feel a little bit more productive. And I feel like a lot of people used to get a lot of joy of being able to dress up, being able to put cute outfits together and, you know, presenting them to the world, you know, just going on about their day. But because we're not exactly going out and about, we don't really put that effort in, and that joy that like people used to have creating outfits and stuff, it's something that they no longer can look forward to because they're not really putting outfits together anymore. If you want to dress up, if you want to feel cute, if you want to put on makeup and you're just gonna be at home, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. I know that sometimes, yes, I'd rather be in a hoodie and some leggings just to be a little bit more comfortable for work, but other times I go full out and wear like a nice blouse, I'll wear jeans, I'll wear my my earrings, a little bit of lip gloss, and just be a lot more presentable, and even do my hair. And it makes me feel way more productive actually. I feel more productive because that's usually how I would be dressed when I would go to work or something like that. Also, being in jeans makes me feel a little bit more restricted, which means in my head that it's work time or school time or whatever, and not let's go and lay down on the bed time. Putting on a cute outfit, a dress, some good pair of jeans or something like that can definitely lift your mood up. So moving on to our next topic is having your favorite drink. And when I say having your favorite drink, I don't mean your favorite alcoholic drink or anything like that. If you are of legal age and are consuming alcohol, I definitely recommend to stay away from it, especially if you're feeling down, because alcohol is known to be a depressant. So I am not talking about that when I'm saying have your favorite drink. What I'm talking about is if you like a certain type of juice, soda even, and you don't drink it enough, or you want tea or coffee or something like that, have it. Having these favorite drinks can bring a lot of comfort. And the reason why I'm saying have your favorite drink and not your favorite food is because sometimes comfort food is takeout food. And like I said in this video, I want to surround it in the idea of being able to have self-care without having to spend money. And other times comfort food can be like making this really big meal. And there are times where we don't have the actual energy to cook. Having your favorite drink is another type of comfort. I know for me, my favorite drink is anything with cinnamon. Cinnamon makes me feel at home, and that's because my mom would used to make me cinnamon tea all the time. So like coffee with cinnamon, cinnamon tea, chamomile and cinnamon. It is such a comfort. Hot chocolate and cinnamon. So I like warm stuff, and like even when it's hot, I won't have something with cinnamon actually. But when it's hot, like a nice glass of water with some ice, it hits the spot, or some lemonade. Have your favorite drink of the season, or if you want to have, an ice cold lemonade when it's raining, go for it. Like, I'm not here to judge. But yes, having your favorite drink can definitely bring a level of comfort. Oh, a matcha latte is so good too. Yeah, that's really good. Anyway, moving on. The next bit of self-care that I feel like I briefly talked about it before but have never made it its own tip on its own is self-affirmations. I never really understood the whole idea of affirmations until I went through my whole journey with my mental health and realizing how self-deprecating we can be. And that's not a good thing, because if you're not encouraging yourself, believing yourself, loving yourself first, then who's going to do it for you? If you're not doing it, then who's going to put that effort into it? Definitely loving yourself and caring for yourself should come first before you're trying to love and care for others. And I feel like self-affirmations is a perfect way of self-love and self-care. And it can be as simple as, waking up and saying, I feel good, or I love myself, or I like being me. Because I feel a very popular thing, a very trendy thing is just to hate on yourself a lot. And I don't understand why that became such a trend, why it became so relatable. I get it, we have those oh, I messed up moments, but that shouldn't really dictate you. That shouldn't dictate your whole personality. You shouldn't hate yourself just because you messed something up. I know that there's also a lot of mental health and disabilities and the whole idea of self-deprecation as well, but that's why it's kind of sad that hating yourself is such a trend, because there's people who genuinely have this this connection with themselves, and it actually is part of their mental health, and it's something that they need to go to therapy for, or something like that. And then there's other people who they just say to say it because it's relatable. So I feel like we should definitely switch that mentality of hating yourself and being more appreciative of yourself. I try to avoid hating on myself as much. I feel like I used to do it a lot more when I was in college. My friends and I had this ongoing joke where we would do this sounds so weird, and anyway, this sounds so weird to the public, but we would do this little gun pointing motion and say something nice about yourself. My friend would always do that, to the point that she even made some art about it. Ever since she started pointing that out and saw that we were talking bad about ourselves, she started telling us to say something good about ourselves. And I feel since then I started practicing self-affirmations a lot more too. That definitely is something that can help your mood, even if it's not at the moment, but in the long run you'll see that you appreciate yourself more and appreciate your accomplishments a lot more as well. So the last tip that I have for today's video is to declutter a spot. I don't know about you, but I'm that kind of person that I like to have everything clean. Like everything needs to be clean, and if there's some type of cluttering, it makes me anxious. And this is just because I grew up in a space where I had to share a 1 bedroom with 2 other boys. My brothers weren't always the cleanest people, so I had to deal with, like, you know, putting away their toys and stuff like that, and our room was always cluttered because they would always make a mess. And I feel like my traumas from back then kind of just like grew into that or something like that. But long story short, I don't like clutter. I really don't like clutter. My space is messy, I feel anxious. So for me, and I know that for a lot of people, your space kind of reflects your mental state of mind at the moment. So not only is like decluttering my space or like a spot a little bit like more relieving, like I feel better, but it's also therapeutic for me, and it can be very therapeutic for people. And that's why I say declutter a spot, because if it is your bedroom that's messy and it's making you feel anxious, sometimes the idea of like decluttering your whole room, or, you know, organizing your whole room, can be quite daunting. So what you want to do is, you know, break it down to a smaller project where you just declutter your desk at the moment. And if you still have energy, or if you still feel like cleaning, you know, move on to your bed, move on to your closet. If you don't, then just with that, it should make you feel a lot better. It's another form of self-care, and you know, you have a clean space. When decluttering your space, removing it from your home, make sure you discard it appropriately. So if you need to recycle, if you need to hand it down, if you need to donate it, if you need to sell it, just make sure it's appropriately, so you know, we can save our planet. I do have a bonus tip though. So before we finish the video, I do have a bonus tip. This bonus tip, and just this whole idea of self-care, can come with a certain privilege. So I just want to acknowledge that self-care does mean taking time, and sometimes we don't have the time for that, and that's fine. You know, try to find ways where you can accommodate to your own lifestyle. This next tip that I have also comes with certain privileges. So what I recommend, as you know, like as a bonus tip for self-care, is to take a mental health day. And again, before anyone comes at me with, you know, not all of us can do that, I completely understand that. I understand that some of us, you know, need to work, like, and we can't take days off. I understand that some of us are in school and have jobs. I understand that some of us have like all these different responsibilities and priorities that they need to get to. But if you have the privilege and the time to take a mental health day, I definitely recommend for you to do that. I feel like we live in a very fast-paced environment where, like, at work we constantly need to meet deadlines, at school we constantly need to meet deadlines, and we're just always like on the run, and we never take a moment to actually listen to ourselves and see what we need. When taking a mental health day, what I personally like to do is, you know, I like to log out of all my emails, log out of social media, because the social media itself can have mental and emotional triggers that may alter your state of being at the moment. So taking a break from social media is definitely recommended if you're taking a mental health day. Another thing that I like to do when I'm taking a mental health day is going outside for a bit. And again, it really depends on where you are in the world and if it is something you're able to do. But if you're able to, going outside for a bit, going for a walk, and if you can't go for a walk, go for a drive, and if you can't go for a drive, then, you know, maybe just sit down outside for a bit, like at your door or something like that, and just seeing nature around you, seeing the trees, seeing the grass, listening to the birds. I never realized how my mind automatically blocks out noises like birds, for example. I've never realized how many bird noises there are where I live until I stopped putting my earphones on when I went for walks. And even when I wasn't wearing my earphones, I wouldn't listen to it, and it wasn't until I was intentionally listening that I noticed how many noises the world makes. It's really fascinating, actually. But yeah, that's kind of what I have for this video. Again, I try to cover different topics that I normally don't talk about, or like lightly brush over but don't really go into detail about. So hopefully you got some kind of ideas, and you can see that self-care isn't always about, doing face mask or going and getting your nails done or, getting your hair done. Although sometimes those things can be therapeutic, I feel like self-care, the idea of self-care, just like everything else, is capitalized. And unfortunately, that means that when self-care is being presented to us, it's because they're trying to sell us something. But you can also practice self-care without having to actually invest in anything as well. So that's all I have for today. If you like this video, go ahead and click that like button. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can get notified of when I upload my videos. But yeah, have a beautiful day, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.